Hey everyone, Lefko here, and today we're checking out the updated version of the PlayStation Classic hack. We're going to test out the amplifier running through the drum set through the projector this time around. If you want to do this hack, by the way, because I got some requests in the last video saying I didn't show how to do it, just go to modmyclassic.com. All the instructions are there. But unlike the original hack, if you look close, there is no need to plug the USB in the stick 2, because if you look at the back, instead we're using an OTG converter on the power port of the PlayStation Classic with power going out, and then a 64 gig USB drive. If my camera would focus, there we go. So let's kill the lights real quick. We'll power this on. Got a nice boot up. Probably need to adjust the projector a little bit, but that looks alright for this purpose. So, whenever you boot up, you got two options. You can go into RetroArch or Bleemsync. Bleemsync will take you to the PlayStation Classic carousel. RetroArch takes you just to your RetroArch emulator front end. So I'm going to load up Bleemsync. If I want to play Nintendo or Super Nintendo, I'll use the minis for those. As you can tell, I've themed it. There's an awesome Final Fantasy VII theme on Reddit. On top of that, he has a Metal Gear Solid theme also on Reddit. You can check that out on the, I think it's under the Mini PlayStation or the PlayStation Classic subreddit. But, as you can tell, 64 gigs gets you a ton of games on here. And it also mixes in the PlayStation Classic games with whatever you load. So I got one of my favorites in here, Ace Combat 2, along with Air Combat. The best of the series, in my opinion. Armored Core, of course, Battle Arena Shinden, which come with it. Legacy of Kain, Brave Fencer Musashi, Bushido Blade, Symphony of the Night, which is a must-have. Chrono Cross, which is, in my opinion, also a must-have. Colony Wars, Vengeance, Cool Borders 2, of course, Crash 1, Deception 3, Descent, Destruction Derby, Diablo, Die Hard, the two Dragon Ball fighting games, Fighting Force, which I think is a really underrated game, of course, the two main Final Fantasy games, 8 and 9, on top of 7, which came on here, Forsaken, which is a really, really good Descent-style shooter, Future Cop LAPD, really good, G-Police, which is a favorite of mine. Gex, really good. Ghost in the Shell, very, very good game on its own. Even without considering the license, it's a fantastic game. Gran Turismo, Hydro Thunder. IQ is actually really good. I'm glad they had it in the PlayStation Classic. Irritating Stick, a really unique, fun game. Kagero, Deception 2. This one I think is the best of the Deception series. Really good. Soul Reaver, the Lunar games, excellent role-playing games. Metal Gear, of course, was already on there. The Marvel fighting games. MechWarrior 2, it's kind of like a forgotten game these days, but MechWarrior 2, at least the PC version was excellent. The PlayStation version was good too. Medieval, the Mega Man X games, VR missions for Metal Gear. Mortal Kombat 4, it's kind of on here for nostalgia reasons for me. I really liked the trilogy better, which is also on here. But 4, it's the Mortal Kombat I had on PlayStation as a kid. The Namco Museum, I only had, if I remember right, Volume 2 or Volume 3. I can't remember. It's awesome to have a whole collection on here now. Hidden Classic. Military Madness Nectaris, fantastic strategy game for the PlayStation. It's also the sequel to the fantastic Military Madness game that was on the TurboGrafx 16. Well worth having on here. No One Can Stop Mr. Domino, underrated classic in my opinion. Awesome game. Parappa, nostalgia reasons, I played the heck out of the demo. Parasite Eve, one of the best RPGs on the PlayStation 1. Short but really good. course, the original came for Resident Evil 1. I had to add 2 and 3 on here. There's a shortcut that'll take you into a RetroArch. Spyro, it's one of those games where I've never really played it, but I played the demo a lot as a kid. So throw it on just to see how it is. Star Ocean, fantastic role-playing game. Grew up with this one, spent hours on it. Star Trek Invasion, weird one, but really, really good. The people who made Colony Wars made this one too. It's a really, really good game. Puzzle Fighter, really good, came in the classic. Siphon Filter, really good, came in the classic. Rainbow Six, why are you here? But hey, it's on there, whatever. The original Deception, really good. Tekken 1 and 2. 2 is my favorite in the series. 1, of course, that for nostalgic reasons. A lot of people prefer 3. 2 is still my favorite, though. Theme Park. I had a lot of fun with this one as a kid. Tomb Raider 1 and 2. Really enjoyed them. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. It includes all the levels from 1, so if you're going to have one Tony Hawk game on here, you throw 2 on here. Twisted Metal 1 came on the classic, good game. 2, significantly better, threw it on. 3, nostalgic reasons, I loved 3. It's the one I had as a kid, so enjoyed it a lot. 4 is kind of like a bonus kind of thing. I enjoyed 3, so it's like, let's throw on 4, see if it was any good. Guilty pleasure, honestly. The good WCW game is right here, though. WCW versus the World. A very good wrestling game. Guilty pleasure, guilty pleasure. Attitude, honestly, all the WWF games are guilty pleasures. They weren't great games, but I enjoyed them as a kid. Wipeout, one of the best racers on here. X-Men Children of the Atom, really good fighting game, and I love the theme. Of course, X-Men vs. Street Fighter on here as well. Xenogears, fantastic role-playing game again. Oops, I put a demo on here and have the generic box art on here, but I did also want to show that if it cannot find box art for a game, it does have like a generic box art file that will go on there. And of course, You Don't Know Jack, really fun games. Now, I tried this with a 128 gig stick and I got a lot of lag. Some people do have this working with 128 gig and 256. I'm just running a 64 for now. I might pick up a 256 to load up more games on it later. But the 64 is running smooth. The 64 gig is a SanDisk, whereas my 128 was a PNY, so maybe that's part of the problem. But all you really gotta do is select a game, hit play, and it even gives you a little disk warning. So we can go ahead and hit OK. And give it a second. And I've already changed my emulator over to RetroArch. It's just why you saw the controller pop up in the corner there. And there's our game loading. Looking fantastic in 72 inches, by the way. And there we are. And to exit the game, because I did change the emulator, Start and Select takes you to RetroArch. So from here, you can back out and go down to Quit. And it takes us back in to the carousel. So that is an update on my PlayStation Classic hack. I am really enjoying this thing. If y'all are interested, I will later on show you my RetroPie build. But until then, that's the look at my heavily modified PlayStation Classic. Yes, I did buy the thing at full price. It was kind of a disappointment at first, but at this point, it's well worth the money. And also, the things are at Walmart for like $40 now. It comes with 2 controllers, easily hackable. You can get a thumb drive for $20, hack it, and you're good to go with any PlayStation 1 game you want. The things are not a ripoff. Especially at $40. You'd be stupid not to buy one, because you can load up any PlayStation 1 game you want. I mean, honestly, at this point, it's earned its place beside the Nintendo Classic and the Super Nintendo Classic. So, here's hoping that Sega Genesis one is just as hackable, right? Till next time, everyone.